It saddens me on a day like this to have to write this statement, most of all, because of what we have achieved together as a team and a
Please read this in Lookman.
That was Lookman. Welcome to another episode of the only football podcast, voted the number one podcast among people that pretend to work while listening to podcasts. Farouk was the deciding vote, if you were wondering. I've mentioned his name, so obviously he's here. Farouk is here. Izuchukwu makes a return.
Thank you.
Ayola Kelechi is here as well. And newly added to the only football family is Joba. Well, family forms quickly. Wow. Yeah, welcome Joba Ogunwale to the show. Paul Sports managing editor. Did I get your role correctly? Don't sack me.
The boss himself.
Yeah. And congratulations to Joba for adding a member to his family as well, which leads to a don't pretend to be happy for him. It did something that might be dope or lame, but like I want to ask, is there any footballer you would name your kids after? Like whether it could be something based on whether how the player made you feel, or you just like the way the name
He's a
sounds.
Liverpool fan, so I expect maybe Nunes or Crouch.
I'm not talking about Joba's kid. I'm not going to review Joba's child's name. So I'm not going to do that. But you yourself, I'm asking everybody on the panel now, is there a footballer you would like to name your kids after? No.
I don't think so.
No.
Really?
Yeah. Why would I do that?
You're all football, man. I mean, I don't expect Farouk to be involved in this. Given how much he has contributed to the abortion industry.
No, I don't. I think Farouk is an upstanding man.
I am a Muslim man. I am pro-life.
I've always flooded with the idea of naming my child Aspilicueta. I will squeeze it in there somewhere.
Can you even spell it?
Just to piss my mother off.
Oh, okay, first.
Yeah,
Okay.
but,
Also, you know that's his last name.
yeah, I know.
Aspilicueta.
I still want to do it.
Tunde Junior
All the best.
Aspilicueta.
Yeah, so I assure you that we actually have a show plan for it, and we are going to get to it at some point. Of course, Ademola Lookman's controversy with Atalanta and Gianpiero Gasperini dominating the headlines this week. Real Madrid and their refereeing controversy as well. Manchester City take on Liverpool in what might be a crunch game, although not as big a game as it's been, but crunch for Liverpool.
Oh, fair. Yeah.
Crunch for Liverpool. I'll be touching on potential call-ups for Super Eagles manager Eric Chelle in terms of the upcoming World Cup qualifiers in March, and then we'll see what is happening on the local scene. I wonder who the local reporter amongst us is.
Nice one.
On that note, it's only football, baby. Welcome. Episode 2. So let's get straight into it. What happened with Ademola Lookman and Gianpiero Gasperini? Backstory, Ayola.
I think it's just head loss, to be honest. Because
Backstory.
yeah,
Tell the listeners. Let's assume the listeners have not heard this story this week, even though they have. What happened? Give us a play-by-play.
again, I don't think they'll be so thrown off by hearing that the coach lost his head. So what happened, of course, Atalanta were losing in the Champions League. They were down 5-1 when they brought on Ademola Lookman. And he scored 35 seconds rather after coming on as a substitute. And then later on, very soon after that, Atalanta had a penalty and Lookman stepped up to take it. Apparently, he wasn't supposed to, according to Gasperini. But he also missed the penalty, and that's really where Atalanta's Champions League dreams ended. And after the match, Gasperini, as I said, he lost his head and he went guns blazing for Lookman, called him the worst penalty taker he has ever seen. Said he barely scores penalties in training and that he doesn't know why the Nigerian forward took the penalty off Retegui or Diketelare. And that's really where we are.
Yeah, to quote Gasperini directly, he said, and I quote, Ademola Lookman is one of the worst penalty takers I've ever seen. He wanted to take the penalty after scoring a goal. He took the ball despite Retegui and the Catalere available to take it. I didn't like what Lookman did. Izo, I'm assuming you didn't like what...
I don't like what the coach did. I don't like what he did. I feel he was basically looking for a scapegoat, because at that point, you were 5-1 down. After how many minutes of game, or 2 legs, right? You were 5-1 at home. Three goals
So
at
Club
home.
Brugge of all things.
Of all clubs, and then somebody who had missed the last 6 games gave you hope after 35 seconds of being on the pitch, and then you lose because of a penalty. Only for the coach to do that. I've always said that I'm not a fan of what coaches do. When they find themselves in this sort of position, they look for somebody to, and just because you are a coach, you feel you can carelessly say anything and people will lap it off.
Yeah, especially because players are not supposed to respond publicly.
Yeah, so they just go ahead and do whatever they like. So he decided to make Lookman the scapegoat of their terrible defeat. For me, it was disrespectful, like Lookman later said. It was, he shouldn't be doing that to one of his best players. Even if you felt that you had a chance from that penalty, who gave you the hope? The same Lookman. You didn't praise him for the goal. You didn't talk about how he missed the first leg and showed the quality of what he could offer and how you guys missed him. You just went straight
to the penalty.
It didn't make sense.
He said his flaws in the game, and also remember Rafael Toloi also got a red card.
Yeah,
so Toloi literally suffered a head loss in that
like the coach.
Had a head loss
Like
in
the
that
coach.
game.
Two leaders in the team.
So even if you want to actually blame someone, I think Toloi should have.
I think Tole's one was the game was in the extra time already.
Tole was
but he also I don't know why a lot of people missed this, but he also criticized Tole. He said you can't be losing your head like that in such a crucial game. Like, even if you're going to lose, it has to be with dignity. That's what he said about the red card.
And another issue I have is that he mentioned Retegui. Retegui missed a crucial penalty against Arsenal. I mean, if he had converted that penalty, Atalanta wouldn't have found themselves in that situation.
It was also defense match.
There's a lot of
Of course, he came to buy them. He came to buy them because they needed at least a point.
And I also think Retegui has missed 2 penalties this season. I think he missed one.
2 out of 4.
He missed one in
what
Sevilla.
Gasperini's real problem was that this is not designated taker. If the designated taker misses, you understand that, okay, it's my fault. I chose this guy to take the penalty.
But the issue again is that it wasn't like Lookman went ahead to hijack the ball from
There was no
Retegui.
tussle.
It was the fact that Retegui asked him that,
That's what Lookman says.
because Lookman is like riding high on confidence. I mean, came on and Retegui feels like, let's give
Please
Lookman.
just go ahead
And he has like a perfect record with Atalanta, 4 out of 4 from the spot. So why not?
If we're talking about records, but generally, we're speaking generally. Retegui is the more recognized penalty taker because he's taken 19 penalties in his career. He's missed only 3, scored 16. If we look at Lookman, he has a 4-2 record now. So if we're going to say who would you trust more with the penalty?
It's not a question of trust now. It's not a question of trust.
So let's Farouk. Is there? Let me give you a play-by-play of what happened in the game by the time. So 3-0 down at halftime. At 5-1 on aggregates, Lookman came in to score, making it 5-2 on aggregates, and then they had the penalty in the 61st minute. Gasperini's angle, you can say, is probably if we score that, then it's 5-3, and then we only need 2 more goals in 30 minutes of play. Is that enough reason? First of all, is that enough reason to have? I'm not even talking about him saying it publicly now. Like to feel that way, like Lookman cost the team. Could Atalanta have actually come back in that game?
To be honest, it did not seem likely because even at the point after Lookman scored his goal, they still looked tepid. They still were ponderous. They were playing the ball wide and nothing was happening. And that penalty came out of almost nothing. Say maybe Cojado. Yes, let me call it. I won't call it luck. But yeah, it did not seem likely to me, to be honest. And it looked like Club Brugge would score every time they counter cross. Atalanta committed so many bodies forward. And it felt like those chances Club Brugge had after Lookman missed the penalty, they did not really commit into it like they would if Lookman had scored, and they feel like they have to score more. So yeah, Atlanta's problem was more than Lookman missing a penalty. They still had to score 2 goals. And to be honest, that Atlanta did not look like they were going to score. I just did not see them looking like they would score more.
All right. So Izu mentioned Lookman's response at that time. So let's quickly get into it before we move on. I personally don't think the response is necessary, but I'm sure the guys might have different responses on the panel. But let's just go through the responses, in which I feel is a little bit of a B-word move. I don't know. Well, in fact, it even sounds that way to me. It saddens me on a day like this to have to write this statement, most of all, because of what we have achieved together as a team and a city.
Please read this in Lookman.
That was Lookman's.
That grew up in London.
Come on. Being singled out in the manner I've been not only hurt, but feels disrespectful, and not only because of the immense hard work and commitment I've always put in each and every day to help bring success to this club and to the incredible fans of Bergamo. In truth, I have to deal with many difficult moments during my time here, the majority of which I have never spoken about because, in my opinion, the team must always be protected and must come first. This makes what happened last night even more hurtful. Along with our incredible fans, we as a team are hurting too with last night's results. During the match, the designated penalty taker instructed me to take the penalty and to support the team. I took responsibility in the moment to do so. Life's about challenges and turning pain into power, which I'll continue to do. The words of Ademola Lookman's publicist.
Black power.
I mean, I feel like the statement is like a little bit dramatic. Come on.
Yes.
It's a little bit dramatic. But I can understand where Lookman is also coming from. You understand? Initially, when I saw the statement, I felt like it wasn't needed. But when he now said the designated penalty taker asked him to take it, I can understand why he had to release that statement.
For clarification purpose.
Yeah, and I think Gasperini should have actually confirmed first before going out there to say, "Oh, Lookman is one of the worst penalty takers in the history of football."
And that's a lie too. That's a lie for Gasperini to have said something like that, where there is no record to prove that.
I mean, he sees him in training. So.
What do you mean by season in training?
Reference, to be honest.
Season in training, how?
He said even
For you to say someone is the worst penalty taker, right? There should be an official something to back that
but he
up.
said he was penalty taker I've ever seen. He personalized it.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
So that means he sees him miss a lot in training. That's what that implies.
We've heard of players who do not take trainings seriously, but in real matches they come through. So in real matches, Lookman had a perfect record. Gasperini had no record to show that Lookman was the worst penalty taker, because trading thing is more of like a digression, you know. And then bringing it back to this thing, to the statement by Lookman. Man, if a coach loses his head, you know, you lose the right to do. I've always believed that players should speak out more. You don't attack players anyhow just because you're a coach, and you feel players will always stay silent. Do you understand? So if that coach, you come out and say, I did not like what he did, and your coach did not confirm, okay, since this guy is not our penalty taker, what really happened? You didn't confirm, you didn't ask, and you just came out to attack somebody. Of course, Lookman has a right to reply and make that statement. And for me, the statement was very respectful, because he'd only tried to state the fact. And I watched that game from start to finish, and I can't remember the time on that pitch where Lookman dragged anything with anybody. I've not seen him drag penalties before with anybody. I've not seen him drag anything, not even free kicks or anything, except he's asked to do. And then you will see him do it. You know, so for Gasperini to come out and say worst penalty without anything to back, that shows a man, just like his captain, couldn't keep his emotions in check. A very experienced gaffer. Yes, he's done so well for Lookman, but at a very crucial point. No wonder they lost the game by 5, because throughout 2 legs, the man could not control himself.
Look, as we move on to the next thing, my own is not even whether it was right or wrong. My stance on this is very clear. Star players have certain liberties. As a star player in the team, you should want to take a penalty, whether you are designated or not, and you have the right to take it and miss it without consequence, because he's a.
But I don't think I'm missing without consequence in this context, because part of the responsibility is also the consequence of missing it.
Also, here's the thing. I also think Lookman would. I don't think this was probably a first. Well, what Gasperini said, I think there must have been, because if you read the statement, if you read in between the lines in that statement, you understand. Like there have been so many issues, maybe behind the camera. I think Lookman was first to release the statement because some issues have been piling up. Like have been
over time. For this particular one, they couldn't let it go.
You understand?
Kind of put Lookman in his place. Like even after that, it's true.
But the reason
even
why
after he scored a hat trick in the Europa League final, I think his comments were like it was not just Lookman, it is the team. But when Otegi does well, at least this is not the reason. I don't think it's because Lookman is Lookman. It's just that I think Gasperini recognizes that this is the best player, but you also have to rein in your best player, just like Mourinho does. So when Lookman performs well, lights out good like that, he says stuff like, it's not just Lookman, it's the team. Look at Cordiado is the one that won the penalty, stuff like that.
Anyway, so congratulations to everybody involved. I'm sure Ademola Lookman will have a conducive end to the season. with this statement,
will he be doing
He's going to be Gomez.
If he doesn't play,
why not?
that's their business.
I mean,
They will still pay him.
He's most likely going to leave in the summer. So
it's most likely going to leave in the summer. It might also affect his stock if
good luck to Atalanta. By the time
for...
Lookman leaves, we'll leave them too.
all right.
I've not seen a Napoli game in.
How many Galatasaray games have you seen?
Every.
That's the problem.
The leader of the Nigerian Atalanta fans delegation has spoken. Let's move on. What's happening in Real Madrid and the controversial referee with the red card for Jude Bellingham?
Yeah, I mean, Real Madrid, it has been a team in their season. They've been applying pressure on the referee through their Real Madrid TV. So every game they lose, and there's a referee. Maybe it's just a 50-50 decision. Real Madrid TV is going to be spamming this thing with footages of the incident. So after Jude Bellingham got red carded in their game against Osasuna.
What was the red card for again?
Dissent.
Specific type of dissent.
Yeah, I mean...
the referee. Essentially.
Why are you using the F4?
Yeah, I mean, that in itself is controversial, but let's move on. So for Dissent, he got red carded, and that meant Real Madrid drew the game. They were winning before the red card. They were leading 1-0. Mbappe scored, and then and it happened to be a penalty from Ante Budeme, so they drew 1-1. And later in the weekend, Barcelona won, and it meant Barcelona went on top of the table. So Real Madrid TV did their thing, and they applied pressure. It was not just Real Madrid TV this time. It was like mainstream media in Spain. It was big fan accounts. It was big personalities. And what happened was immense. People started looking into the referee. The referee's name is Munuera Montero. I'm sorry if I don't pronounce your name well. I'm Yoruba. So it led into some investigations into him, and they found out that he has a company, a consultancy firm, and that firm is alleged to have business dealings with Atletico Madrid, Paris Saint-Germain, Manchester City, UEFA, La Liga, and stuff. So there's a law in La Liga that tends to check stuff like this that can be seen as suggestion of improprieties.
Yeah. I assume every league has that as well. I mean, you should not own a company that works for teams as a referee.
I mean, you can record in a Gregoria case, but I think this one is in a lesser...
I think we also forget what country we're living in, perhaps.
I'm not talking about us.
So basically, he's now being investigated, and due to the pressure, his name has been pulled from this weekend's La Liga matches, and up until the investigation is completed, we are not expecting him to return to the lineup.
All right, thank you very much, Farouk, for clarifying that he was not suspended because he gave Bellingham a red card, because that's the narrative people are flying with on the internet. And who better to comment on Real Madrid's issues than a Barcelona fan? What do you make of this?
Well, I think if truly there's any proper...
If truly.
Yes, if truly. If in truth, is that better? There has been any impropriety on his part based on the company that he has holdings in, then he should be investigated and punished as appropriate. But it's also interesting to see that it took this for the investigations to occur. It took him and like Farouk said, the pressure from Real Madrid TV, which has been ongoing throughout the season for correct calls, for wrong calls. I mean, even the Bellingham red card that started the whole brouhaha, few people can say it was a wrong call because we've seen similar things happen in La Liga. We've seen it with Piqué, we've seen it with Dembele, and it's good that they are looking into this, but should referees really be under this much pressure because they've made a correct call?
I mean, it has to. It is part of why the duopoly in Spain. The duopoly in Spain is the reason for this problem. When it happens in the Premier League, and say Arsenal fans are like,
Ref difference.
if Arsenal fans are like complaining and Manchester, you see sections of the Manchester United, the Liverpool, and the likes, and say, no, come on, like this is the referees. They make mistakes as well. I'm a Real Betis fan. If you do not know already,
It's a lie.
We've gone into it before, but thank you so much, Java. That's the best you've done.
last weekend, in our game against Real Sociedad,
Who is we?
allow me.
Okay, just let him get it off.
In the game against Real Sociedad, is that fine now?
Yes, please.
The first red card Real Sociedad got was very controversial. It seemed like something if like a Real Madrid or Barcelona gets, it is going to turn into this thing because
Like this.
they called the red card for last man foul, but other defenders were close to him, and then they got the penalty, then another red card. So my point is that this stuff happens throughout Spain. Other teams are suffering bad decisions as well, but these two big clubs know how to make it about themselves, and it now looks so focused and they're against us.
Yeah, sorry, that game you just referenced. Now, what was the scoreline?
3-0.
And who was the goal scorer? The goal scorers in that game?
Macroca scored the brace.
And who scored?
Macroca scored the
And
brace.
Who scored and assisted?
Anthony scored an assisted
Okay,
goal.
thank you very
that's what
much.
we
Thank
don't
you.
need it.
If you don't understand the context, go watch episode 1 where we discussed
Anthony.
in full detail about how Anthony is tearing it up in Real Betis and Farouk.
and winning
the
the
Real Betis
popularity
fan
award.
said no.
I'm going to admit, I'm not an Anthony hater. If he does well, it's for my benefits. He was great in the last game.
All right,
actually.
thank you very much. Let's move on to the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Eric Chelle has a quote unquote difficult task on his hand in terms of sorting through the immense amount of talent. I can't even say it in straight face.
But we are talented.
I mean, I don't know why that is funny.
Especially our forwards. We have
Yeah.
talented forwards, especially our forwards in Germany.
Yeah, like,
Talented forwards in Germany.
but
I expect him to call that
ahead of the World Cup qualifiers in March, I'm trying to confirm exactly when those games are coming up. But we have 2 games coming up. Yeah, thank you very much, Ayala Kelechi.
I think it's 20.
It was very wrong. It was so wrong.
17 and 20. Okay,
Also extremely wrong. 17 and 24th, according to the. You said 21st.
So why did you say extremely? Like say wrong.
So I mean, let
Anyway,
me educate you guys.
thank you.
So
Fair enough.
as managing editor, you understand.
Okay.
So the
And also
first,
a granddad.
so the first international break of every year is always the last weekend of March, like football calendar. First international break of every
Yeah,
year.
so March 17, Nigeria go away to Rwanda and then host Zimbabwe on the 24th.
Big game.
Big games. Who are the players we are, looking forward to see? Because I have a theory that the kind of managerial changes we've had over the last 4 or 5 years, we have like 4 or 5 different managers from entirely different backgrounds, different style of play, some even different continents, but the squad list remains identical. And I believe that there's no way these guys are the ones selecting this
Political stability here for the NFF. I mean that's a positive.
So, name and shame right now, because we're running out of time. Name and shame right now. Who are the people that you don't want to see in this squad list? And who do you want to see? Going around the room. Let Joba go first. Wait, you want to see him or you don't want to see him?
So here's the thing though. I don't write too much again, but but I wrote an opinion piece recently that this is how Eric Chelle can succeed as a Super Eagles manager. Number one, you have to do away with Austin Eguavoen. Eguavoen is technically his boss because he's a technical advisor at NFF, you understand? But if you look at the coaches that we've had in recent years, like they've called the same names, you understand? So, I mean, no one, if Eric Chelle wants to play it safe by following Eguavon, you understand? And he fails, it's still going to get criticized, you understand? So why not just do things your way and experiment if you want to experiment? We are currently in a terrible place right now for the World Cup qualifiers. Anything other than a win against Rwanda and Zimbabwe means that we are not going to qualify for the 2006 World Cup. So call players like Ike Uche, Getafe. Ike Uche. Santos, Uche, Getafe. I mean, call players like Nathan Teller also, like give players that you've not given
new blood.
Yeah, as you said, Ian Acho should not be called up. I mean, I don't think
you'll get your chance.
I don't think Al Hassan Yusuf should be called up. I don't think we need Ahmed Musa again in the squad because I've been hearing I've been hearing rumors that Musa can still give something. You understand? I mean, I don't think this guy that plays for Crawley Town. I think he was called. Yeah. I don't think we need that kind of quality in the Super Eagles. I think we are bigger than a League Two player. So call players that you know that you've not given a chance before. Yes, you can defer to Eguavon, ask, this players, what do you? But let your decision be your own, like fully your own. Own your decision, experiment and all that. Because at the end of the day, you will be judged irrespective of whether you will depend on Eguavon or you don't depend on Eguavon. So why not just go ahead and experiment?
I hope you deal with your reporters with that same mentality. Just quick plug-in. Speaking of articles about the Super Eagles, Kola Wale Babatunde, who was on the first episode, shout out to him, wrote an article that I find rather interesting. 4 key areas Eric Chelle has to fix before the World Cup qualifiers. So kind of touches on this. I can't read the article, so just go to sports.ng and find that. But so Farouk, quickly, who do you want in the team and who don't you want to see?
Yeah, I mean, I think Ian Acho has to be there because it's not like he's blocking another remarkable striker. Ian Acho is important for team chemistry. No, I mean, if you're not going to have
and physics,
not Ian Acho getting the Ahmed Musa role of moral support.
All this moral support
is important. Also, one of the key markers of Eric Chelle's Mali team is their midfield strength. So I'm expecting Oyindika to have a more prominent role that he has not enjoyed in the past. And maybe, like you said, Crisanto Suche. And I would like to see him go straight into the team and maybe even start one of the 2 games.
And make his debut.
But I don't know about Ian Acho. Ian Acho can't even get a place to play football right now. I don't think the Super Eagles should be.
Who is he keeping out of the team?
It's not about who he's keeping out of the team. I mean, Akpom is shooting he's scoring out everywhere. What's his name? Tolu. Arakotare is firing at all cylinders.
So has been in good form.
Yes, and then you are calling Ian Acho. Ian Acho should sit down first and sort out his playing time.
Those people you know.
Ian Acho is sitting there enough.
We know the people that are starting. Victor Boniface and Victor Osimhen. We
don't
need somebody that is going to be okay with. He's going to help with team chemistry.
Yeah, then call Akpom because Akpom has shown that whether at Ajax or Lee that he can do something off the bench. Ian Acho has not shown any of that.
So who else do you want to see before I move on to
like I said, Teller has to come back as well. They've mentioned Uche. There's this youngster. I think it's time for us to get him out of the market. George, Monaco. Yes, it's time to get him to the Super Eagles. Those are players you should be looking at calling, and I think that's just basically for me. Or maybe one guy from the NPFL, Papa.
Please. Ireland.
You got simple help, please.
That was how they hyped this Wemo stars. And when you like to a bright.
Which light is bright?
Even if you want to talk down on what's his name? Sadiq Ismail, who has left the country,
NPFL,
I mean, the match he played, even the foreign ones, what did they do?
Okay, Ayola, please.
All right, so I'm going to agree with Joba, not because I'm worried about my job or anything.
You're certainly worried about your job.
But yeah, I don't think I want to see anybody who is currently playing at Kano Pillars in the Super Eagles team at the moment. I think we have
NPFL.
That is actually funny because your last AFCON and co and stuff, right? An NPFL guy won it for you.
Speak on it.
Ayola, please.
That's why we haven't won it in 12 years or anything. But yeah, I think it's time for us to start looking beyond some players like Iheanacho, like Ahmed Musa. And but I think although we want Eric Shell to innovate with the squad, I don't think he can innovate too much because the quality in Nigeria is a bit centered around a few players. There are obviously players that are unknown, but still, he should maintain the core group of these players, and I think that's how he's going to succeed with it. Introduce some new faces, Uche, people like Aruku Dare, people like Akpom and Teller, maybe Desez, although I don't believe he's in that great form, but you still need the core players, the Osimens, the Lookmans. These are the players that we need to see in the Super Eagles because they are the ones who are going to make it happen eventually.
This is like when in exam where you say, copy, but you add your own. You don't put them as they don't be like saying, talk everybody. Anyway, we are debuting a new segment of the show called Injury Time. Basically, so I selected two people, and by default, I select Joba and Farouk because it's a Liverpool Man City topic. So, preview in 30 seconds. I'll start the stopwatch. You have 30 seconds, Joba, to give your preview and prediction. And Farouk also gives it. So if you want to lean towards Liverpool, if you want to lean towards City, I'm already telling you which way to lean. And then the rest of us will judge you who won.
This is Crossfire.
Crossfire. This is not Crossfire. Crossfire is a significantly better show. Anyway, are we ready?
Yeah.
Joba. I'm starting the stopwatch now. Liverpool versus City this weekend.
This is a very, very good, important one for Liverpool because anything other than a win could see us now claw points back to 4 points. So we played the 1-1 draw last season at the Etihad, but I expect us to go there and get the job done. I mean, Man City have been out of form this season, you understand? And Liverpool are flying high. I mean, we are winning games even though we've not played brilliantly. So I'm predicting a 2-1 win.
You already lost. You not even say 2-1 win for who? I hope Farouk has a much better performance. Go.
The game against Newcastle showed that Manchester City.
Come on. Well, start that again. Don't interrupt him. Okay. Let him get it off. Okay, I'll start the stopwatch again. Farouk, you have 30 seconds. Give the best. I think you'll win by default because someone was so horrible. But give the best preview of Liverpool versus City.
The game against Newcastle showed that Manchester City are found some form because Newcastle are one of the teams that can really push them. And they showed that with Nico Gonzalez introduced in the team. So yeah, against Liverpool, I would expect to see a better Manchester City, and with Mamouche firing, they might actually give Liverpool some problems. So I'm predicting 2-2, especially because I expect Liverpool to actually exhaust themselves against Villa more than Manchester City would against Real Madrid, because I think that game would end.
Thank you very much. It's been. I did not think both of them could lose, but somehow I'm just going to answer because I'm just going to answer because it's the first time. Or maybe I should select better people next time. But Isu, in under a minute, what's happening on the local scene?
Okay, so just like Real Madrid and Barcelona in La Liga, we had a referee situation in the NPFL. It seems La Liga is trying to learn one or two things from the NPFL. So we had an issue in Owerri where Heartland with Amunike, interestingly, a former Barcelona player, and shooting stars. So the referee, Emmanuel Kolawole, was very, very generous. I think the fans should decide themselves. Just watch this video.
Prepare to be amazed.
Stay to the end.
Yeah.
And subscribe.
And then, of course, we had a situation also in Enugu, Cathedral. It was service in the NPFL where two friends, Ogumodede and, of course, Fidelis Ilechukwu of Rangers.
Daniel Ogumodede of
Remo Stars. Yeah, they went head to head. And whenever these two guys meet, it's always really, really intense. And on this particular occasion, Fidelis, 2-1 win to end Remo Stars 6 games 6-game winning streak, right? To crawl back into a bit of hope to title contention, because right now they're just 10 points off with 14 games to go. So, yeah.
Thank you very much, Izujugo, the man with his pulse on everything, Nigerian and African football. Ayola, take us out with some fun facts.
All right, so this is more fun than fact, and it's about former Manchester City and Arsenal defender Kolo Toure, Ivory Coast legend. And in 2012, apparently, Mr. Kolo Toure disguised himself as... what did he disguise himself as? Sorry.
He disguised himself as this.
He
disguised himself as a Ghanaian car salesman so that he could have an affair.
Was he holding eggs?
No.
Holding eggs and khaki.
I mean, Ghanaian car salesman.
Yeah, as a Ghanaian car salesman to start an affair with a student in the UK because he didn't want her to know that he was a footballer. And so this went on for 2 years, while Kolo Toure also got married during that time to someone else in the Ivory Coast. And he was eventually caught when the young lady took a picture of him while he was coming out of the shower while he was unaware.
How young is the young lady?
No, she's not. She's a student, a university student, of course.
Then what's the color of the lady in question?
What?
I don't think that's important. But no. He was eventually caught when she took a picture of him while he was coming out of the shower, because he tried never to take pictures because Tunde knows that when you are doing that type of thing, you hide your face. And so she took his picture and showed it to one of her friends, and her friend was like, "This is Kolo Toure." And interestingly, Toure is not the only...
What's the player's name again?
Kolo.
Interestingly,
Toure is not the only footballer to have done. It's not even in the Premier League, because another Manchester City defender, Sylvain Distin, did the same thing a bit earlier, where he claimed to be a milk salesman to go on an affair with a young woman for 3 years.
This man is like 6'5", 6'6".
And they say Nollywood is unrealistic.
A very distinct looking man.
Anyway,
undoubtedly, the fact was fun this week.
This week, yeah.
I have to say. Well, I think that was more of like a double life than a disguise. But yeah, shout out to Kolo Toure.
Of course, you defend him.
I think there's a reason his name is Kolo. And
a mentor to lots of guys on the panel. Who is the most likely to exhibit such behavior on the panel?
Tunde Young.
Oh, I was hoping you would say Farouk. But anyway, guys, thank you very much. We have to go. Fantastic episode brought to you again. It's not easy summarizing the entire week's action in half an hour-ish. That's what we do. Tunde Young is the name. Izujugo, Farouk, Joba Ogunwale.
Pleasure.
Did this with me. This is Only Football, brought to you by Paul Sports and sponsored by absolutely no one. We shall see you.
So please reach out to us if you want to sponsor this program.
Enjoy this video of that penalty again.
I like and subscribe.
Like, share, subscribe. If you're listening on Spotify, let Spotify know that you're enjoying.
Follow us.
Follow the account. If you are watching on YouTube, of course, like, subscribe, drop a comment, let us know what you think, and
ask us questions.
And also send screenshots to your female friends. There might be a potential Kolo Toure situation going on. Somebody will say, is that not Emeka? No, his name is Farouk here. We have to go. Until next week. Enjoy the video.
Bye.
Please stick to Only Football.
Sends the long one forward. Samuel Agu puts it out for a throw-in.
Daniel, a chance for Atalanta in the box, that takes a shot and it's blocked. Referee says play on Mustafa Samuel now on the attack once more. Whips one in. John Bassi. Penalty to Atalanta FC.